Hi friends, what is up and welcome back to the Hair by Kate YouTube channel. My name is Kate Perez and today I'm doing my hair and my daughter's hair at the same time. We're both doing color block sections, so I'm going to show you our technique and placement for both, as well as how I stagger both of our appointments to really make the most of our time. These are our starting points, and Lily's goal for today is to have a little bit of a deeper all over shade with as light of blonde as we can possibly get her color block. I sectioned out the side quadrant of her head, leaving a little bit of a veil on top, so she will end up with a peekaboo section and not something that's just kind of looking chunky right on the top of her head. Since Lily's goal for her peekaboo is to be as light of a blonde shade as possible, I'm taking super thin sections for my foils. Anytime that you are doing foil work and you take thin sections, you're going to get better saturation, which in turn will give you a better lift. I'm doing a very light tease, so not a deep one where I'm back combing hair from the ends all the way up to the root. I'm keeping the back combing just kind of focused on the root section, so it's just going to give me a little bit of a better blend at the root area and not so much of a balayage ombre look. I'm also using a coup board to help me with these teasylights. The coup board is super nice because it actually has teeth at the top. I'm going to zoom in just a second and you'll be able to see a little bit better. But there are teeth at the top of the board which help hold all of that back combed hair in place so it's not sliding down your foil and getting drugged down while you're applying your lightener. I'm going in with 20 volume for Lily's hair. She has a pretty decently dark starting point, and we're not doing a huge section. So I want to go ahead and just go in with a decently strong developer to go ahead and get that lift, because I'm not waiting for the whole head to process. So I don't feel the need to start with 6 or 10 volume like I typically would in an all over blonding application. We're going to be moving in these paper thin teasy lighted slices all the way up this color block section. Our goals are just to get this applied as quickly as possible so we can have a really even processing time. I wanted to zoom in a little bit so you could see some of the technique a little bit better. So with the back combing, I'm only starting that about 2 inches down from the scalp. If you start the back comb lower, you're going to get more of a rooted look, which will kind of turn your sections into almost like a balayage ombre type of placement. But if we keep the teasylights focused around that top 2 inches up by the scalp, you'll just get that kind of soft transition from her natural hair into the lightened pieces, which is great for someone that doesn't want to constantly be coming into the salon to maintain their color. This is where I feel the coup board really shines in comparison to other balayage boards. I was actually never a balayage board kind of girl until one of my coworkers started using the coup board. And when I saw those little teeth that just help hold all of that teased hair out of the way, I was like, okay, let me try this thing. I borrowed my coworkers, and ever since then I've been sold on using this for teasylights. It really just makes the application process so much smoother because I'm not fighting with all of those teased hairs and trying to keep them out of the foil and out of the lightener. Now we're going to finish the application up Lily's head, and while her lightener is processing, I'm going to be putting my foils in. Whenever I am working on 2 people at once, which I don't do frequently, only in scenarios like this where it's, myself and my daughter, or 2 family members, 2 friends, they have to know each other and want to be booked together for me to double book. But I like doing one part at a time and starting the other while someone is processing. Because I'm bouncing back and forth, that's what's going to make me be able to knock out 2 colors in basically the time of one. I don't typically like booking 2 people in the salon though, just because whenever I am working with a client, unless they are specifically requesting to be booked in with someone else, I would rather just give them all of my focus and all of my attention so I can make sure their color always comes out perfectly. Now it's my turn. I am going to be doing basically the same placement that I did on Lily, but my end goal, instead of blonde, I want to go for some kind of blue, teal, green shade. I am not super picky with the color of my hair, so I'm kind of going based off of what my color lifts to. I have been using semi-permanent level 3 4s on my hair for the past year or two, so I'm really unsure of what I can expect with my lift, but I am just going to base my final semi-color choice on what tone I actually get to. I've actually done teasylights on myself a ton of times, and I do think that they are the most doable hair color placement to do on yourself, but it's still not easy. It's still pretty challenging to do without being able to see all of your hair and just working on the side of your own head. So Lily actually offered to step in and help me at least get the lightener applied. I still went through and did all of my sections and back combing myself, but she is a great painter, so I just trusted her to go in and just get this lightener put on for me. I'm making sure to check behind her as we go, so here I'm just telling her that we need a little more saturation in that foil. We don't want to see a lot of the hair kind of poking through that lightener. We really want to make sure that the lightener is fully coating that foil and all of the hair in it so we can get that really good lift. I'm also using 20 volume on myself. Same reasonings that I gave earlier. I'm not doing a super huge section, especially with mine. I'm working through a previous deposited color. So I want to make sure I go in with something that's not a very weak lightener so I can go ahead and make some moves happen. We'll keep moving up the head in the same pattern, doing these teasylights with the light teas until we finish my color block section. Then it will be time to check on Lily's foils. Now that Lily's foils are done processing, a few different things are going to be happening all at once in the shampoo bowl. Our first task is to pull all the foils and shampoo all of the lightener off of Lily's hair. Whenever I'm shampooing lightener, I always go in with Olaplex 4C. So that is Olaplex's clarifying shampoo. I feel like it is a great product to make sure all of those lightener molecules are completely pulled and rinsed from the hair before we go in with our toner. Lily had a previous balayage, so we wanted to do a color glaze using a demi-permanent color to just kind of deepen those previous balayage highlights. The depth on the rest of her hair is what's really going to make that color block blonde pop. So we wanted to go in and do this glaze to give it a little bit more of that contrast. I'm just glazing her with a level 5. I didn't want to do anything too dark and have it conflict with her natural grow out. We wanted to keep it pretty close to her natural shade so we're not creating a line of demarcation for ourselves to have to fix later. Our demi-permanent glaze has a processing time of 20 minutes, so I wanted to utilize this processing time to go ahead and get another application started. I'm using high-speed toners from Pulp Riot. These are my absolute favorites for any solid blonde sections of hair. I'm going in with Moonstone, Icy, and Lilac Chill to remove all of that yellowy orange and get her as bright as possible. We're at a good pause point for Lily's hair, so I went ahead and rinsed out my lightener and power dried it. My lift, as you can see, didn't get super light, so I'm going in with cool jewel tones from Pulp Riot. Since I did have some yellowy orangey tones in my lift, I wanted to go in with some blues and greens to kind of help cancel and neutralize all of that warmth, but still leave me with a greenish teal end result. The key things with the Pulp Riot semis, again, is saturation. I'm taking just 2 large sections to apply my semi-permanent color. So these are decently big sections, but I'm really making sure that the color is penetrating all the way through and fully saturating each and every strand of my color block. I trimmed Lily's hair while my color was processing, then rinsed my color out and started to give Lily a blowout. This is the lightest that she's ever seen her hair, that we've ever been able to get her hair. So I think she's like a little bit in shock, but like the best kind of shock. Like literally just give it a few seconds until I flip her blowout forward and just the cutest little baby look is on her face. I just love her. in between finishing Lily's blowouts and doing her final shots, I also dried and styled mine, but I am just obsessed with the way both of our hair came out. Here's Lily's. I think it's so cute that we're like twinning, but not exactly twinning because she's in the blonde life. I have this like teal kind of mermaid color going on. I'm honestly just shocked that she let me do the same placement as her. I feel like it's rare for a 14-year-old to want to match her mom at all, so I just feel very fortunate. And I am honestly so shocked at how well these Pulp Riot semis covered my lift. I was so warm and honestly kind of dark from just the raw lift. So again, just shocked with how well Pulp Riot always does in my hair. What a dream to be able to get this color without having to lift your hair to white blonde first. I mean, it is unreal. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching our entire process. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
I don't know what to do.
Okay, enough of that.